This is the In Focus podcast from The Hindu.
Hello and welcome to another episode of the In Focus podcast. I'm your host, Sampath. Five-time world champion Magnus Carlsen and the chess governing body FIDE have been embroiled in a public spat. Carlsen, in collaboration with a German businessman, has launched a new chess tour titled the Freestyle Grand Chess Tour. But FIDE has objected to their use of the term World Championship, which it believes undermines its exclusive right to that kind of branding. For the time being, the conflict has been put on pause, with the freestyle organizers agreeing not to use the term World Championship for the first 10 months. The Freestyle Tour, which will see a different format of chess games compared to regular chess, kicks off today in Weissenhaus, Germany. So what is this Grand Tour all about? What is at stake here for Carlsen, for FIDE, and the other major entities in the chess world? And is there a chance of this new format displacing classical chess in the future? We discussed the biggest development in the chess world this year in this episode of In Focus, and we are joined by PK Ajithkumar from the Hindu's Sports Bureau. Ajith, welcome to In Focus.
Hi Sampath, thanks a lot.
So Ajith, can you explain for the benefit of our listeners what exactly is this Freestyle Grand Tour? How did it come about? And is it sort of primarily driven by Magnus Carlsen trying to sort of cash out before he's finally marginalized by this, this horde of new next-gen champions who are sort of coming in right now?
Well, Sampath, Freestyle Chess Grand Tour, it's a series of big chess tournaments featuring the world's top players, including Carlsen. 5 tournaments are lined up for the 2025 tour, the first of which begins today in Germany, as you just said. It is promoted by the world number 1 player, Magnus Carlsen, and the German businessman, Jude. They have raised $12 million for the tour. The 5 events are to take place in 5 continents. Freestyle chess is different from normal chess because the game starts with the chess pieces placed randomly on the back rank of the board. For instance, you will have the queen at the extreme square instead of the rook, which is the case in a normal game of chess. This was the idea of Bobby Fischer, the American genius who was responsible for making chess the popular game that it is today. You may recall that it was Fischer's 1972 World Championship match with Boris Spassky of the former Soviet Union that put chess in the mainstream for the first time. There was a lot of interest because of Fischer's extraordinary abilities and results as a chess player. And it is also because of the fact that the match was being held at the height of the Cold War between the United States and the Soviet Union.
Just to clarify one thing, you said in freestyle chess, they keep the pieces at the back rows in random order. So does this mean
In random order, yeah.
So does this mean that the queen and the king can be in the same row as the pawns and the pawns can be behind, or is it only in the back row that they get shifted around?
It is the pawns will be on the the second rank. The problem is in the back rank.
Okay.
So where
back rank will be sort of jumbled up.
Back rank, the pieces will be shuffled. Actually, there is an order, for putting the pieces on the back rank when you start the game. So that is not the case here. So this was, as I was trying to tell you, Fischer suggested this in the 1990s. You may remember that after Fischer won that world championship in Reykjavik in Iceland in 1972, he did not defend his crown. Then he had some mental issues, as we know, and he never liked being in the limelight at all. So in the 1990s, Fischer came up this idea, which he called Fischer random chess. His idea was to make the game a bit more interesting and less dependent on theory. So this over the period of time, it gained in popularity, and there have been some world championships before. Even FIDE, the World Chess Governing Body, they conducted it themselves twice in 2019 and in 2022. And this, the Grand Chess tour, the current tour that has been in a bit of controversies. This is been organized by Carlsen and Jan Butena. So the problem with that, with this tournament was they promoted it as a world championship for freestyle chess. Freestyle chess means, this random Fisher random chess. It's also called chess 960. FIDE felt that
Why
only they could
960?
use
What is this 960 about?
960 means because you could when you put the pieces in a random manner, you could have a starting as many as 960 starting positions. So that's why it is called 960.
So
Just
even here, I
960.
mean, if the idea behind this random this kind of Fisher random chess is to sort of to sort of nullify the advantage of an excellent opening preparation
Of
theory
course, it
wise.
does. Yeah, but you said this is only 960 possibilities.
So you can again prepare for 960. No, it's not too many, right?
You can't. No. It's only one, mind you. Until now, there was only one way of putting the pieces right.
Mm-hmm.
Multiply that into 960.
Okay, okay.
Yeah, so this problem, as I said, started with the organizers promoting this as a world championship. FIDE did not like that idea, so they said only FIDE could conduct an official world championship. And then this eventually was solved because the organizers of the Freestyle Chess Grand Tour, they decided to drop the term World Championship. You could see, from their rules and regulations, which is available in a PDF format on their website, freestyle-chess.com. You could say that earlier they called this, when they published the earlier rules and regulations, you could clearly see that it was called Freestyle Chess World Championship Official Rules and Regulations. Now, after the talks with FIDE, now it is called just the Freestyle Chess Grand Slam Tour Official Rules and Regulations. So, for the time being, they've decided to drop that term, the World Championship. That is for the next 10 months. So, things could again go back to square one later on when they start their next tour.
I was just coming to the next question about this entire conflict between Carlsen and FIDE CEO and then the FIDE president. I mean, was it all like a prelude to this freestyle Grand Slam tour, or was it like something unrelated to it, but sort of to do with Carlsen's personality and the fact that he sort of is a completely different force within the chess world?
The Carlsen has been critical of FIDE for some time. And he has had some heated arguments in the public and on social media with FIDE CEO Emil Sitovsky and FIDE's president Arkady Djokovic. Of course, the freestyle tour has been a big issue of late. But you may remember that Carlsen has not been playing in the World Championship, the FIDE's official classical World Championships, since 2021. That's the last time he won the World Championship. It was his fifth classical title. After that, he's been staying away from the FIDE World Championship, saying that citing a lack of motivation. And another reason has been, this angle of, this the kind of preparation that one needs to play a world title match. And again, the dependence on theory. This is one of the reasons, why they're trying to promote freestyle chess. Even at the recent World Rapid and Blitz Championship, we saw Carlsen and FIDE getting involved in a very ugly battle in public. Carlsen was disqualified for violating the dress code. He had come dressed in jeans, and the arbiter asked him to come back dressed more formally. But Carlsen refused. He said he would not even want to play in any more FIDE tournaments, that is, official tournaments conducted by FIDE. His reaction was rather angry at that time, and he even said that Vishwanathan Anand, former world champion, now he is FIDE's deputy president, he said Anand was even not fit for the job. And it was only after the FIDE president Djokovic intervened that Carlsen decided to play in the Blitz Championship. He walked away from the World Rapid Championship held in New York. The Blitz Championship followed immediately after. So it took some talks between the FIDE president and Carlsen's father to resolve the issue, and Carlsen agreed to play the World Briggs Championship. But even that ended in a major controversy. Carlsen and his rival in the final, Ian Nepomniachtchi, they agreed to share the title, though the rules did not allow that. The rule said that they have to play, they have to go on playing a tiebreaker until a winner was decided. But Carlsen and Nepo decided to share the title. They uh, suggested them, made the suggestion to the FIDE, and FIDE agreed to that. I don't think FIDE should have done that. Because suddenly you cannot change the rule in the middle of a tournament. In this case, in the final, can you imagine something like this happening in the final of Wimbledon with the player stopping the match in the tiebreak? You can't. And about this incident, I had asked the FIDE CEO Emil Sutowski, and he told me that he would have taken a different decision. So even he was not very happy with the way the title was decided. So this happened after that.
Okay, so is this very common in chess? Like if one player becomes, acquires a very high rating, like Carlsen is the highest rated player in history, they start sort of trying to dominate the entire chess governing body itself. They want, they expect separate rules for themselves and separate another set of rules for others. I mean, how does this happen? Is it because FIDE is not like widely respected, or is it something doesn't have enjoy the same kind of support among all players? Or is it because it's dominated by Russians? Is that something going on there?
No, I don't think so. FIDE has had issues in the past also with Gary Kasparov. He had broken away from FIDE and conducted his own PCA World Championship. But this time, general feeling is that FIDE was too soft on Carlsen when it comes to the World Championship, World Blitz and Rapid Championship. But we could see that in this issue, as far as the Freestyle Tour is concerned, FIDE has scored a kind of a victory, because the organizers have decided to drop the name, the term World Championship from their Grand Tour. It's only Grand Tour now. The original idea was to make the champion of the Grand Tour the official the world freestyle chess champion. So that is not the case anymore.
Right. So, in terms of the skill involved, Ajit, I mean, Carlsen has been saying classical chess is too theory based, it's boring and it's passe. And, this where you don't have the advantage of theory and preparation, this freestyle chess, that's the real deal. I mean, what do you agree? Would you say that somebody who's very good at freestyle was in some ways a better chess player than someone who's great only at classical chess?
Well, at the moment, it's you can't say that. The thing is that we've been playing classical chess for a long, long time, and you may remember that even the first world championship was held in 1886, and from then on we have only had 18 world champions. So that shows how difficult it is to win a classical world title. And Gukesh, when he won the world championship in Singapore, he became only the 18th world champion, and the youngest too at the age of 18. At 18, he became the 18th world champion. So you require tremendous amount of skills to play classical chess as well. Uh, the thing is, what people like Carlsen, there are many top players, even Hikaru Nakamura. They're not very enthused about playing a classical world championship. The reason being that, as I said earlier, a lot of importance given on the theory, especially the openings. But you can prepare for months on an opening with your coach, with your seconds. But even then, even after all this preparation and for all the criticism against classical chess, you could still get a lot of exciting chess. We saw that in the World Championship in Singapore recently, between Gugesh and Ding, and before that in the last World Championship in 2023 between Ding Liren and Ian Nepomniachtchi. We saw a lot of exciting chess. So the chess will become more exciting, once you're out of the theory, out of the opening moves, maybe some 15, 20 moves. And not even that, even FIDE and other tournament, FIDE as an organization, even other private tournament organizers, they have tried to make classical chess more interesting. If you look at the point system, earlier it used to be half a point for the draw and 1 point for a win. Now there are certain tournaments in which you could get 2 points for a win and three even with when you win with black pieces. And there are many tournaments in which you are not allowed to make a quick draw, which you could have done earlier. So, and I believe this classical chess will continue to have its prominence. Even now, we can see that blitz and rapid, those two formats are becoming, much more popular now. But all these forms can coexist, just like in cricket. Cricket, we have Test match cricket, we have a 2020, we have one-day internationals, but all those forms, you know, exists, coexist. So I think that will be the case with chess as well. And we already have a Blitz and Rapid World Championships. And as I said, FIDE used to have a World Championship for chess 960. They conducted it twice. The last one being in 2022, in which Nakamura was a champion. In 2019, Wesley So had won it. In 2023, actually, FIDE called for a bid to host the 2024 uh, World 960 or Fisher Random Chess Championship, but that did not happen. Now, after all this controversy and maybe the renewed interest in the new format, maybe who knows? So FIDE might be conducting more World Championships in that format as well. So for
Is
the
the
time being,
money, Ajit, is the money being put up by this German businessman and Carlsen for this Freestyle Grand Slam tour, $12 million or whatever figure you mentioned?
yeah,
Is that
yeah,
much?
12 million,
Is that
yeah.
bigger than what FIDE was offering for its freestyle or for its actual classical world championship?
Yeah, it was. Yeah, the money is pretty good, but because if you look here, uh, for every event there is 750,000 US dollars per event. Then uh, the first prize are getting 200,000 US dollars. Then the next one is 140,000 US dollars. That was second prize. Then for the third prize there is 100,000 US dollars. Money is pretty good, but again, these are early days yet, so we don't know how it will pan out. This is, of course, a very this is going to be an exciting tour. The tournament promises a lot. If you look at the lineup, and the games should be good, given the kind of players we have. Some of the world's best players in any format are there,
So
including
how does a player
Carlsen.
enter the freestyle tour? Like, what is the criteria by which they qualify for it? Is there any?
Yeah, this is mind you in a private tournament. So this was one argument that FIDE had against it. When they call it World Championship, FIDE said not
No.
everybody got a chance to play, or the qualification was not very transparent. But how what they have done here is that they have 10 players competing in the first leg in Germany. So six of them have qualified automatically. The top three from a freestyle goat challenge. They had a similar tournament last year. So the top three from there, it was won by Carlsen. So Carlsen, then Fabiano Caruana and Levon Aronian. Caruana finished second and Aronian third. So they've qualified from there, three. Then three highest rated players in FIDE list back in 2024 April. That is Hikaru Nakamura, Nodirbek Abdusattarov, and Ali Reza Firoza. So that makes it six. Then a wild card was given to Vincent Kema. He's a very young, exciting player from Germany. Then another wild card was given to Vishwanathan Anand, but Anand later withdrew very recently. Then they had also a qualifier. There was a qualifying tournament. The winner of that tournament, that Vladimir Fedosiv. So he's also through. And Anand's place was taken by Sindorov, who finished second in that qualifying tournament.
Right.
And of
And
course, there is a E Gugesh, as a world champion. He's also an automatic. He's also been seeded directly to the Grand Tour. I think there was one question you asked. The second part of your first question. I think I did not answer that. Whether Carlsen is trying to cash out, the answer is no. No, it isn't because of Carlsen's fear of being marginalized by the younger players. That is not the reason for this Grand Chess Tour. Carlsen is still the biggest name in chess and the strongest player the world has ever seen. We shouldn't forget the fact that he has been the world number one for the last 14 years.
but there have been other players in the past who have been world number one for longer number of years, right?
Well, Gary Kasparov was there, but if you look at the chess strength, Carlsen can claim that he's probably the strongest player of all time.
Okay. You mentioned earlier, Ajit, that Vishwanath and Anand was supposed to be part of this elite group of 10 players who were going to take part in this freestyle tour. Then he withdrew. So, like, can you explain why he joined and then why he withdrew? Is it to do with this conflict with FIDE, between FIDE and Carlsen?
Yeah, obviously, Anand was supposed to play. Then, no, he was given a wild card, as you said. He was one of the 10 players and one of the two wild cards. But I don't think it is much of a surprise that Anand decided to withdraw from the tournament because Anand is FIDE's deputy president now. And given the troubles the freestyle tour has had with FIDE, I don't think it was a surprise at all that Anand decided to withdraw.
Right. Even if he had not withdrawn, if he had played, do you think he would have been able to compete with this generation of players? Because he has not been playing that much, right, recently.
Yeah, but Anand being Anand, yeah, he would have. We don't know how he would have fared. I think he would have still been able to come up with a good performance.
Okay. Okay. So, coming to the tour itself now in some detail, Ajit, I think one leg of the tour is going to be in India, right? I think in Delhi. And there were some reports saying that they have still not found investors and sponsors for the Delhi leg of this tour, the Delhi tournament. So, can you talk a little bit about when it is scheduled for the Delhi part of it, and is there still uncertainty over investors and all that?
Oh well, the Delhi leg is scheduled for September, but that I think is very much in doubt at the moment because no investor has come forward yet. That's what Butner says. But officially, Delhi is still one of the venues. You could see Delhi in the list of the venues. The others being Paris, New York, and Cape Town in South Africa, apart from Germany, of course.
So there are total five events.
Yeah, there's one in Germany, which is starting today. Then there is one in Paris, one in New York. The last one is in Cape Town, South Africa. But the Delhi leg, unless somebody is willing to invest in that event, it may not be held there. That's what the Butner says.
It may not
So
be
it will
held,
be
or will
held.
the venue be changed to some other place?
Of course, yeah, they need money, right? Somebody has to, come forward to sponsor it, to invest in it. So for the time being, until this point of time, nobody has come forward. That's what Butner says. So if nobody comes forward, it might be uh, conducted elsewhere.
I mean, you're having this tournament in like different continents, Europe, and you got it in South Africa, US, and India is the place which has got the world's, I think top two or three out of the top five, the world champion is in India. And Indian leg of the tour is the only one which doesn't have money. Isn't it like rather strange? I mean,
Well, yeah, because that shows where chess still lives. There's been a lot of corporate interest in chess in India, but still we have got some way to go. Not that Indian corporates are not doing anything because Gukesh won the world championship because he got great backing from Westbridge Capital, their academy Waka. Then we have the Global Chess League being sponsored by Tech Mahindra, in which most of the top players are playing, including Carlsen. But still, we could do with more corporate interest in India. So you're right. India being India not just being the top players from India. Most of the top players are from India. Apart from that, we shouldn't forget the fact that India are the reigning world champions, men and women. Having won twin gold at the Olympiad in Budapest a few months ago. So it's a bit surprising. It's a bit disappointing if it doesn't take place in India. Given the number of top players we have in India, given the kind of interest chess has in India, and the fact that most of these players, so most of the big players are playing in the tour, like Carlsen, Gukesh. So it should be pretty disappointing if it doesn't happen in India.
yeah, I mean, it's like India is a dominant force, I mean, in terms of sheer number
It
of
is,
players,
yeah,
strength in the top 10,
yeah,
top 20. Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
So
India
do you,
is,
or
you know,
do you
India
think
is.
do you think the
Hmm.
choice of Delhi might have been a problem? Should maybe Chennai have been the place to host the Indian leg of the tour?
No, no, the problem, no, apparently no investor has come forward, that's the problem. Nobody, nobody has, if Chennai or some other city is interested, they should come forward. No official announcement has been made from the tour organizers headed by Butana, or if any other city is interested, they could also get in touch with them, right?
Okay.
So that has
Oh,
not happened so far.
right. Hopefully, somebody will come through. There are still, I think, some 4 months or so to go.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Yeah. So one last question, Ajit, before we wrap up. So this Weissenhaus event, which is starting today, can you talk a little bit about that? Like, has there been a lot of preview analysis happening? How these? I don't think Gukesh has got any kind of much of an experience in this format. He's a world champion in classical chess. But then you've got three guys who qualified in this format, and then three who were the top three in the previous edition of GOAT freestyle. So they're all
Yeah.
pretty experienced, whereas our boy may not have that much of experience. Plus, he is also not very comfortable with even in the traditional chess game, then the rapid versions of it. So how do you assess his chances in particular, and also that of all the others in general?
Well, we shouldn't forget that the fact that Gukesh beat Carlsen in this freestyle last year, when it was held. So you can't say that Gukesh doesn't stand any chance. Of course, he's not starting as the favorite. Carlsen is the favorite. He is the best player in the world in every format. And he was the winner of the freestyle event got last year. Among other players, Hikaru Nakamura could do well. No, he won the 2022 Fisher Random World Championship, the last time it was held. He's a fabulous player. He's a very popular streamer also. He's very good in Blitz and Rapid. Nakamura is there. Then another American, Fabiano Caruana. Then Caruana was second last year. Then Levon Aronian, a very fine player, Armenian born, now living in the United States. And Aronian was third in the last tournament. Then there is this exciting young player from Uzbekistan, Nodirbek Abdusattarov. He's another player to watch out for. So yeah, it could be interesting, but at the moment, Carlsen is the favorite.
Right. Do we have like domestic tournaments within India for our youngsters in this format? Ajit, are there many freestyle tournaments conducted? Like we have traditional tournaments which are pretty strong. Do we have freestyle tournaments in India much?
No, I don't think so. We don't have, but even around the world, you won't see that many freestyle chess tournaments. Because I told as I was saying earlier, this took off in the 1990s. FIDE has been able to conduct just two world championships. So it is still, chess being such an old game, dating back to centuries. Um, uh, freestyle chess is relatively young, so
So
that
would
sometimes
you say
because
it's more difficult than classical chess?
well, it depends. You have to be very good. At the highest level, you have to be pretty good at classical to play this, especially in a normal classical time control. The only thing is that opening part is taken off. That theory won't help you much, but still you have to be tactically pretty strong. You have to be imaginative. But I don't think it is ever going to replace classical chess, at least in the foreseeable future.
And the time controls are the same. The time controls are the same as in classical chess.
Here, for the second part of the tournament here, yes. But again, classical chess is a bit like test matches. So, in spite of all the in spite of all the T20, IPL, ODI cricket, the test cricket is still enjoyed by a lot of people, purists. So that is the case with classical chess as well. Because if you look at the history, we can remember all the 17 world champions that have gone before Gukesh, but I don't think even the most ardent of chess fans may be able to name all the world blitz and rapid champions.
Yes. That's true. That's true. I agree with you completely there. That's all I have for you, Ajit, in this episode of In Focus. Thank you so much once again for coming on this show, and we'll wait and see how this first edition of this Grand Slam tour unfolds, and maybe we'll come back and maybe do a post wrap once it's done or towards the end of the year. Thank you so much once again.
Oh, my pleasure, Sampath.
In Focus will be back soon with analysis of the biggest news issues. In the meantime, you can find our podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, and other platforms. Just search for In Focus by The Hindu. We'll see you soon.